Hi everyone, it's Monica and welcome back to Taylor-Made Cards for You. Well, a new month means a new challenge over on my blog, and today our theme is going to be school days. Now with the start of school, I know that a lot of times we need to have little cards or gifts for the teachers, especially when the holidays start to come. And what fun wouldn't it be to be able to create some sort of a card or a gift card holder kind of with the school theme. And that is what I wanted to share with you today, along with one of my crafting secrets. Now, I have a son, and he is well beyond school days. He's actually a grown man now, and he is working a full-time position. So he's not giving out too many teacher gifts anymore. So what I wanted to do is just share with you one of the kits that I have in the shop to help you make some of your teacher gifts. Now, the kit that I'm using today, I believe is called School Days, but I'll make sure I link everything below. And be sure when you do a search on the shop that you search school, because that's how all of the school theme ephemera pieces will come up. So what we're going to do today is we're going to create kind of like a gift card holder, but it could also be a card. And what we're going to be using is some of my vintage pieces that were, again, original vintage, scanned in and cleaned up a bit. I like the grunge of these, so I didn't clean them up too much, so that way they still have that authentic feel. But the secret I wanted to share with you is what I print on. Now, I want these to feel like traditional report cards. So what I print on is just regular old manila files, and what I do is I cut them down to 8.5 and 11 and I run them through my printer. Now the trick is you have to have a printer that is going to hold heavy cardstock, because of course this is heavier. So when I adjust my print, I make sure that I adjust it to show that it is going to be using heavier cardstock. So that's the trick. But I just love the way that it looks on this manila paper, and I love the feel of it. So if you have any old manila files, don't throw them out, because they're great to craft on. And even if you can't print on them, I know you probably can stamp on them, and they just make great pieces for your crafting. So that's my little share for you. But now let's go ahead and jump into the cards. So what I did is I just went ahead and I printed out the cover, which is what would hold the report card, and this is going to be like our envelope kind of. And then I printed out this old report card as well. Now, as you can see, it does have the matching name, so that's always fun. And then we're going to go ahead and use this little schoolgirl to decorate it up, along with some distress inks. And I'm going to use my antique linen and vintage photo today. Now, some of the pieces I'm going to be using from the kit, this is just from my stash. It's not actually in the kit, but I'm going to use this for the inside of the card. And then this is what's going to be in a pocket where you can put a little gift card if you wanted to, along with a couple of ephemera pieces. So let me go ahead and get this all cut up, and then we'll get started putting it together. Okay, so we've got everything cut out. Now we can go ahead and put the card together. And this is going to be a very simple card. So if you have several teachers, I know for elementary school you typically only have the one, but if you have, you know, several teachers that you need to give to, maybe you also want to give to, you know, an aide in the room or something like that, these will come together really easily. So the first thing that I did, of course, was print and cut everything out. And as I indicated, I used the manila folders to print this out, so it's nice and sturdy. It's not flimsy at all. And then I took my scoreboard and I scored it right down the middle. And as you're going to see, it's going to fit into this little holder perfectly. Now you also want to score your holder, and let's go ahead and put that together first. So you're going to want to find the middle point, of course, and then just score right down. And on the printable, you do have a little bit of a shadow, so it shows you exactly where you need to score it. Okay. And then I'm going to cut off just a bit off of this because I want to have a bigger fold. So let me just trim this just a bit. Okay. And that'll give me a nice fold here. So let's score it about right here. And then we're going to also score that. All right, and then we're going to just fold it over, kind of like you're making a pocket. And remember, this cardstock is a little bit thicker, so you want to kind of keep that in mind when you're working with it. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut my corners. Let me find my scissors real quick here. My desk is a bit of a mess because I have been creating. All right, so just a little help for the corner. A little trim, and then I also, just because I like to trim my corners as well. All right, so now that we have this all trimmed down, let's go ahead and glue it together. It should be, yeah, it should be pretty good here. All right, so I am using my 3-in-1 Beacon, my glue of choice, and go ahead and glue this down. Now, if your card base, the top of it is a little bit bigger, don't worry about that because we can trim that down. It's not a big deal. But you want to make sure your edges line up. So if you have to make a minor adjustment, you might have to be just a little bit flexible with that. But you want to make sure that it does close and it looks like a report card holder. And then if you don't get perfect, it's not a big deal. It is a handmade gift. So if you are looking for perfection in your handmade gifts, don't make handmade gifts. Go buy them. Because that's part of the charm, I think, of a handmade gift, is it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be made with love. All right, and then I'm just taking some of my vintage photo and I'm going to edge up my edges just a bit here. Now the paper already looks vintage because of the colors of the original report card, but this just gives a little bit extra. All right, so let's go ahead and decorate this up. So I want to put this little girl on there, and then I have this diploma of graduation and honor certificate that I sized down. And as I said before, that's one of the nice things about digital images, is you can make them as big or as little as you need to. So that's always fun. So I'm just going to do a little bit of layering here. And again, if you want to, I should have done this before, if you want to add your, antique, your vintage photo, or, whatever distress inks you have, you probably want to do that before you add your glue. All right, so let's just put that there. And when you are edging your pieces of ephemera, your ink goes a long way because you don't necessarily need it to be dark. You just want to add a little bit of an accent. All right. Perfect. And then you can even ink up your paper dolls if you wanted to. Just gives a little bit of a shadow, which is kind of nice. All right, and then we will put her right here. So as you can see, this is coming together pretty easily. All right. So now that we have our card holder, let's go ahead and set this aside and we can work on the actual card. So I went ahead and I cut out some craft cardstock because I did want to go ahead and mat this. And this is going to be for the inside of the card where you can write a little sentiment or a little greeting, you know, something like that. All right, and I'm just matting this, like I said, on some craft cardstock. And then this is going to go right inside the card. Now before I do that, let me go ahead and again add my vintage photo. Antique linen is also nice. It's not as dark, but that's also a good one to use. Walnut stain, if you want to go a little bit darker, is a nice ink to also use to make it look a little bit more vintage. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and glue this to the inside. Okay. And then as a final touch, I wanted to go ahead and make a little pocket so that way if you did want to put a little gift card in here, you'll have a little spot for that. So let's go ahead and put that together right now. All right, so for the pocket, you're again going to use that manila folder that you've been printing on. And I printed on one side and then I had the other side still left over. And I went ahead and I cut out this piece to be able to house my little library checkout card. So this measures, I eyeballed it, but it's about 5 inches by, I don't know, 3 1/4 maybe, a little past 3 1/4. But really what you want to do is just make sure whatever size you print this, that you have a you know, a little 1/4 of an inch on each side, so that way your little library card will fit into your slot. And then I scored it at 1 1/2, and then I'll do my 1/4 of an inch here. Now, of course, if you want your folds to be bigger, then just measure accordingly. All right, so I'm going to give this a little snip here. Just to help it fold a little easier. All right, let's get this out of the way. And then again, we're just gonna come in with our glue. Oops, so I needed to cut this off as well. And then this should, well, it should fit nicely if you cut straight. We'll fix that. All right, so we will go ahead and fix that after we glue it down. All right. Okay, so I went ahead and just adjusted it a bit and then glued the sides down. And now, as you can see, I have this cute little pocket that will house my little card. And again, you can attach a gift card here if you want to, completely up to you. You don't even have to add this little pocket if you don't want to. It's just a really cute addition if you want to do a little gift card. And then I'm using my We Are Memory Makers Crocodile to round my edges. All right, so now that we have this all ready to go, let me go ahead and add a little antiquing here. And then this will fit nicely into my pocket, which will go right here. So as you can see, this is a very easy teacher card to put together. So if you did need to make a few of them, you can put them together in no time at all. And I'm sure your teacher or your child's teacher would just get a kick out of it, because it really is cute. And I know teachers love to get theme type gifts. All right, so that's pretty much it. And then this will fit nicely into your card holder. And there you go. So I hope that you've enjoyed my little tutorial here on how to put together this teacher themed card. I will leave a link to all the products that I used, which are some of my digital images. And be sure to check out some of the other design team projects as well, because I'm sure they're going to have some great ideas for teacher cards and teacher items as well. All right, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.